Welcome to the ITM Podcast.
This is episode 266 of the ITM Podcast, the official Boston Red Sox podcast of the CLNS Media Network, brought to you by Prizepicks, the exclusive daily fantasy partner of the CLNS Media Network, and the Boston Red Sox. They got some drama going on right now. My name's Joey Copponi. That's Scott Neville. Scott, how's it going?
It's lagging.
Oh, no. We're not dealing with Wi-Fi connection issues. You're good. You're fine. You're good. You're back. I see you now.
Yeah, no, it was lagging there, though. And the same settings I always have her on, where we've been good. We've been good for so long. But
we've been fun. Hey, how about that for a fucking sec? Things were good, and then suddenly out of nowhere, something interrupted it. We're going to spend most of this show, if not all of it, talking about the biggest story around the Boston Red Sox right now, which is a little bit of controversy over defensive positioning, I guess you could say. Let's just get into it. Rafael Devers was asked a whole bunch of questions about possibly moving to DH because Craig Breslow, Alex Cora, took him aside last Friday, 5 days ago now, and had a conversation with him about moving to designated hitter. And when Raffy was asked how those went, he said, I play third base. And they said, well, how would you feel if they asked you to move to DH? He said, no. They said, yeah, but isn't that like the team's decision? And he was like, no. They're like, well, so what would you do if they asked you to move to DH? He said, no. And there's a million onion layers to unpack here and go deep into. And this person says this, and this person said that, and this media personality said this. And like, should the media have asked him about this? And let's just start on the shell. Let's just start on the shell, Scott. Give me your initial reaction when you see that. You see the headline, you see the tweet, you see the video that Amalgamation Account X tweeted that says, Rafael Devers says he won't play DH. First thought.
I hate to say it, but Joey might have been a little more right than everyone else gave him credit, because I didn't think this was going to be an issue. Devers never really has an issue. I always thought, I thought he did like playing the field, but I thought, you give him a pitch of like, hey, man, you can just hit bombs. You can just hang out in the dugout every day. It's a long season, Yep. Your shoulder hurts all the time. Let's just swing for the fences, and that's the only time you're going to be feeling shoulder pain. Let's just do that. And no, it seems like that means a lot to him. So I think that's part of it, and I understand that there is this like, people are trying to make their projections on a sheet workout where they like make a diamond and they're like, where could we put everybody? But I would say this, like right now, this second, there isn't a clear second baseman. Like Christian Campbell has not won a job. Vaughn Grissom is not worth moving a franchise player over. And I think your best lineup right this second is Bregman at second, Devers at third. You get to DH Yoshida, who, again, everyone, you can say whatever you want about him. But if you could talk about Yoshida's bat
Stronger.
versus – yeah, but Yoshida's bat versus Grissom's, like, right now it's
clear
Yoshida.
Answer.
Yeah, and then Christian Campbell, if he does make the opening lineup, that's a different discussion. We can talk about that. I will also say more balls go to second base than third base, and Bregman is the best defender. So right now having him at second probably makes him the most valuable. And Grissom isn't good at defense, so that's a thing that people aren't talking about. Also, people aren't talking about him at all. Christian Campbell, also, like, we don't really know, but I don't know if you heard much about his defense. It's been mostly like, it seems like, Rafael moved around because he was a Gold Glover everywhere, and Campbell's been moving around because they haven't really found a great spot for him yet. And so, are we going to have the same conversation when Christian Campbell has a -6 outs above average in September? Are we going to be like, man, thank God we got rid of Devers?
Yeah.
That was a lot. I went all over the place, but those were
that's okay. I mean, listen,
statement.
I mean, I think everybody did. I think everybody saw it and started playing GM and moving people around and all that stuff. I think that's totally legitimate. I don't want to, I mean, you mentioned it, so I guess I'll talk about it. I don't want to get up here and take a victory lap. That's not what it's about.
So if I didn't mention it, you wouldn't have mentioned it.
Probably not.
I think you already tweeted about it, if I remember correctly.
Was that the first thing I tweeted about it? I don't think so. Maybe. I don't even remember. It's not a big deal to me.
Yeah.
I don't want to get up here and pat myself on the back. What I will say is I
told you so.
Told you so. I told you so. Nana, nana, boo, boo, stick your head in doo doo. I told you this would happen. And here's the thing, Scott. When I say something confident, I don't think I got on here and was like, I don't know if Devers will love the idea of transitioning to DH. I'm 99% sure I got on here and was like, that's not going to be easy. Devers is not going to quietly become your DH. He's not going to. He cares about his defense. Like, everybody around the team says that. Alex Cora told you guys to your face that he cares. Have you ever heard Cora talk about another player giving that much of a shit about defense? Have you ever heard him be like, hey, by the way, while you guys are asking about Willier's bat, just know he really cares about playing a good right field. I just want to throw that out there. No, he's never said that. He said that about one guy, and it's the guy who really cares about it. The guy who wants to be a complete all-around player and an athlete and be involved, and like the last thing he wants to do. Like, he's bored when he has to stand on base. The last thing he wants to do is sit in a dugout for 3.5 hours to get 3 plate appearances. He doesn't want to do that. And he's like, that's not me just like, ooh, how did I know that? Because people say it. Because, I mean, I've heard it from people in the team, and the people who run the team have told you. And, I mean, the bigger thing to me that like came out of those original quotes, this victory lap over, the bigger thing that came out of that set of quotes for me originally was I'm a man of my word, and I all that got translated, by the way, about 12 different ways. And we got to stop the whole like, whoa, they translated this wrong, they translated that. Actually, what he said, oh, so my cousin's from the Dominican, and his tone actually wasn't that. There's words. And like, yes, I know the team translator is not going to say exactly what he said, but like, take the words he said, run it through a translator. Like, it's that simple. He said what he said, and like there's some nuance to some things, but he said what he said. I don't have the quote right in front of me, but he said something to the effect, as I'm saying, it doesn't matter. I'm going to just shoot from the cuff and hope that I get this quote right. But something like, I took them at their word, and it doesn't seem like they're holding up their end of it. Alluding to the idea that he was told that when he took his extension, that he was going to be a third baseman for the bulk of it. That's how important it is to him. In my mind, if you're moving him, it better be for a guy who's a fucking third baseman, and because you have to. Because if it's like your DH slot is open, like let's say Yoshida, they just didn't have Yoshida, and right now their DH
don't.
Let's say Yoshida just like, I don't know, he just decides that he wants to like work for the Travel Channel and make content from waterfalls and shit, because that's what he does.
Bet I would watch that so hard.
I mean, it's called his Instagram because that's what he does. He's always on the move. But if you just didn't have him and your DH was like Ref Snyder and like Narvaez, and it was like, yeah, we don't really have a DH. We just acquired an infielder and we have a second base prospect. Yeah, it makes sense. Put Bregman at third. Sorry, Raffy, the time came a little early. It's just not the case. Like, if you're going to step on the toes of your franchise player, it better be for a fucking good reason. And moving Bregman to third, or I guess keeping Bregman at third, just for the sake of like giving a prospect a shot at second base, doesn't make sense to me. Like, I know Campbell is as highly rated as he is, but you said yourself, like, he's not a defense first prospect, and he's not like unanimously ready to go. We're in the same place with all three of the top guys, which is Will they be ready to go opening day? Could it be like May? Could we see someone like Roman Anthony maybe come up late? Like, that's where we are with all of them. This is not a surefire. We have the second baseman of the future. We have to bring him up, and we just acquired a third baseman, and we don't have a DH. Makes sense just to do this move. It's an unnecessary move, and it's an unnecessary conversation to have with your franchise cornerstone and just upset him for no fucking reason. I don't like it. I totally understand where Raffy's coming from. I think for as much as people say Raffy doesn't do the media stuff as much as he should, he sure like he doesn't hold back when he says what he says. Like, this 2 years in a row, 2 spring trainings in a row where he gets there and he's like, you want to know what I'm thinking? I'll fucking tell you what I'm thinking. Like, I'm all about it. Short, like, say your shit, and I'm on his side. I'm completely on his side. I don't think that it makes a ton of sense. It just feels, I get him being upset. I can entirely understand him being upset about this.
Yeah, honestly, I think the best point you made in the middle there was I hadn't thought about the fact that, like, he might just be the most ADHD-filled person on the planet and might not be able to handle just DHing. Like, you're right. He does. I mean, if there is a pitcher delay of any kind, he is, I mean, just antsy as hell on second base or first base or whatever. Like, hates it. Like, so
he's doing snow angels.
Yeah, so that's a great point. I hadn't thought about that. But I will say, like, I think the biggest thing, like, I go back to that I said is, like, I understand the idea of Devers has made the most errors at third base since he's been in the league. He's been one of the worst graded outfielders since he's been third baseman since he's been in the league. But if you're going to get a really bad second baseman in his place to move Bregman over there, then you've just pissed off Devers for no reason. And it's also hard to go back. Like, you're not going to – That's the other thing people want to talk about. Like, if you go – Bregman is essentially on a one-year deal. And if you move him to DH in 2025, you're not in 2026 going to be, okay, now you're going to be the everyday third baseman again. Like, I mean, maybe I'm sure he'll do a little bit of, almost like, you need to give a different guy rest, you move him to third. But it just, I don't know, it's a little weird with Campbell. I feel like with if it was Meyer, this would be a different conversation, because if Meyer was the one that was right there, you say, well, maybe you go Meyer, Story up the middle, Bregman third, you have plus, and then you go Devers to DH. But yeah, we're talking about, like, the 2 second base candidates right now, Vaughn Grissom and Christian Campbell. I mean, like, if you want to go by Sox prospects on Christian Campbell, potential average defensive profile with the versatility to adequately play at least 3 positions, average arm, passable on the left side, but best suited for second base. With that said, he also says at short, third, shows solid athleticism range, but is a little unorthodox in his movements. Outfield, whatever. He barely knows how to play outfield yet. But, like, I also just don't think even that feels like one of the more generous reports on his defense. I don't expect him as a rookie to be a plus defender. Like, I would be stunned if he had more than 2 outs above average. I feel like that's his ceiling for his rookie year, and it's probably going to be more like -2.
It's just a weird cocktail of ingredients to say this is worth upsetting and knowingly upsetting your franchise player.
You got to figure out exactly how pissed off Devers is about this, because like, obviously that he came out hot there, but like, if this is something where it's more of like, I like to play third. I'd like to, but maybe, if he said, well, hey, what if Cora was like, what if you played like 40 games a year at third and then was our primary DH? Like, if that was somewhere he's like, yeah, I'm cool with that. Different story. But if he is really like, no, I am your everyday third baseman. The trade stuff, which got thrown around, it was kind of, I think, overblown. If that becomes like a bigger thing, then yes, absolutely. It's just worth it to take the -6 outs above average every year, -9 or whatever it is, and deal with the plus defense and in offense, and it's an overall good package, and you just don't worry about third. There's plenty of other positions to figure out. If it is something where Meyer's ready or Campbell's actually better than we thought defensively, and he's more open to it, okay, like I'm fine with that. But
I
why piss him
think
off if he's that upset?
exactly. I think, although I just kind of ragged on this, I think the answer to the trade question that Devers was asked looks worse in writing than it sounded. I think that's one of those things. Like if he said that in English, if he said those same words in English, it doesn't sound as bad on the ear as it looks written down. I think like they were like, so what if you don't play third, are you going to ask for a trade? And he was just kind of like, well, I mean, I'm not going to say yes or no. I just, that's not really what I'm talking
said,
about.
I don't know. I haven't thought about it.
Yeah. He was basically like, oh, I mean, I haven't really thought about that. I'm not going to say one way or the other. And it's probably one of those things where like he said it and was like, I know I probably should have said no. But like in the moment, he's just like, oh yeah, I haven't thought about it. I don't know.
But also you might be, if you do care about third, you might just say something like that just to prove how pissed you are in that moment.
Sure.
But not actually be ready to make that threat. A bluff, if you will, I could have said.
A bluff.
If I wanted to say
Some would say.
But this is a podcast, I will say, we're going to say it long.
You made a great point in the middle there that like, I mean, we're just going to keep going back and forth doing that. You made a great point. No, 4 minutes ago, you said something great. You move him from third to DH once in this contract. Like that's it. If you want to blow that load now, I'll say it's a little quick for my taste. Tease me a little bit. You know what I mean? Let me, you know what I'm saying? Or something. I don't know. The analogy dies there, I guess. If you want to shoot that shot that early, man, I have a really hard time agreeing with that because you have Devers for another 9 years. Like you have him for a long time. When he's 30, when he's 31, and you have 3 infield prospects that are like here and going, you're going to have, that's when you do it, is when you're like, hey, Raffy, get comfy. Like you're a leader of this team now for real. You sit back and whatever, like the time has come. Like we still want you as like a voice in these kids' ear for infield defense, but like now the time has come. It's just a weird time to do it. I don't love it. I want it, Scott.
I will say, I think Coley said this. It is very weird from Cora's perspective. And I know we're going to get to Cora all offseason. I think that guy's a Gold Glove second baseman. That's what I think.
Yep.
I think he actually be best suited for second base. He came up as a shortstop, all that stuff. And then the second he signs, it's like, we're going to do whatever it takes to win. Like that narrative immediately changed, and nothing else changed in the formula. It's not like, it's June and now this Campbell's starting to come along strong, or they made a different signing, or they made a trade that opened a vacancy. Exact same scenario. And now it's just like, maybe actually I would play him at third. It's just that is kind of weird to me because it was like, what happened?
I mean, entirely. I don't understand that decision either because that has been the talk. Because that's why I said move him to third earlier in the show. Like I said, move Bregman to third because it's been ingrained in my head. Bregman's the second baseman because that's how we've been talking about him or how we've heard about him anyway. And
so
it always made sense. Like if
call.
Arenado comes here, you have to do a bunch of shuffling. If Bregman comes here, you just put him at second. And so now it's like, well, that's kind of the work. That was one of the perks of Bregman over Arenado is like, you don't have to do all this shuffling shit. Speaking of shuffling shit, you know what this whole conversation really reminds me of?
Probably just like going for like more or less taking a stance on more or less decisions.
More or less like player stat projections?
Yeah.
Prizepicks is the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Prizepicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prizepicks. All-Star Weekend. I mean, it's behind us now, but Prizepicks is the best place to win cash watching your favorite players during the game. The 3-point contest. If you weren't in on that, my goodness, did you guys miss out? Prizepicks is the best place to get real money sports action. Join the over 10 million members today and sign up, and you get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prizepicks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like, Scott?
Taco Tuesday.
Yep, each Tuesday, Prizepicks discounts selected player projections up to 25% to provide even more value to your lineup. So download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prizepicks, run your game. All right. A lot of stuff to get to, and I'm going to go in just chronological order because that's just, that's just the smart way to do it. The following thing after the Raffy statements was Bregman's reaction. And I'm glad that's what came next, because I think as this was all going down and people were talking about, what Raffy said and whatever, my brain was like, Bregman's got to feel fucking very weird about this. That's like the one thing that I can criticize Raffy for is you're putting Alex Bregman in a really uncomfortable position. Because now he has to be like, no, I want to be a third baseman, or I just trust I'm going to go wherever they tell me to. I know he didn't, but it's just weird. There's just no good answer for Bregman to give, like when put next to what Devers said. I don't know. It's just got to be so, especially coming from Houston, where, granted, it's grown over the past 7-8 years or whatever, 8-9 years, but the media is not like Boston. Like, he knows he's going to like one of the big baseball markets, and I'm sure he's heard about like what the Boston media is like. And his first taste of it is, "Hey, Alex, your teammate says that you're trying to steal his position, and he's the franchise cornerstone player. What do you think about that?" Like, that's got to be uncomfortable. It's got to be uncomfortable.
What did he say?
He gave all the right answers. He so media trained, so perfectly media trained. I will pull it up, but I'm going to paraphrase. He basically was like, "I'll play wherever they want me to play. Everybody here has a lot of pride, and everybody wants to play, their position. I'll quote, I'll play wherever helps the team win," end quote. Just a whole bunch of that stuff. Just all the stuff that your dad is going to send you a quote card of and go, "Smart guy. I like this guy." Just all the things you're supposed to say. And he there was a couple of questions that he just redirected really cleanly, which I can respect in a player when they do that. They'll ask has Devers talked to you about wanting to be a third baseman and you kind of stepping on his position or something? And he'd be like, "Yeah, I've gotten to know Raffy a little bit over the time that I've been here. A whole bunch of great guys in the clubhouse, and it's getting to know these guys, and everybody here's hungry to win. So we're just helping each other. Also getting to know each other. But at the end of the day, it's just about helping the team win, and I'm excited to be a part of the team." He was really good at that stuff. So he didn't really give anything too juicy, but handled it the way that you want to see him handle it, I guess.
Yeah, I just feel like I see him playing a lot of second base when they show little videos and such. I genuinely don't know if he cares. And he probably, something I thought about today is he is a natural shortstop. And I think just about every natural shortstop I know would rather play second than third because it's the most like shortstop. There's more action. Like I said, you're still involved in turning two. And also, his favorite player is Dustin Pedroia growing up, and he could be the second baseman of the Boston Red Sox. So, I don't know. I kind of feel like he doesn't care either way. It'd probably be he obviously has played third base in the big leagues for a long time. I'm sure he likes doing that at this point, but also he's probably excited about a new challenge if there is one. So, again, that's complete speculation, but I don't think he is just doing the media stuff. Like, he is obviously just going to say everything about winning, but I also think that's kind of just him. Like, Pedroia was the least media trained, but every answer he did have was about winning because that was actually all he cared about. And I think Bregman's very similar in that sense.
No, I think you're right. I don't think that Bregman's like putting it on when he says that. Like,
Yeah.
I think there's another level of honesty that you can get from him that you would get like behind closed doors. Like, like 6 beers deep, he'd be like, dude, I'm running through my head like, what the fuck did I get into here? Like, now I got to answer these fucking questions. Like, I'm sure he's thinking that.
Yeah.
But as far as, issuing your first major quotes outside of your introductory press conference, I think he nailed it. And I'm not a fan of canned answers usually. In this position, exactly, I think, what you should do. Transition, I think giving a non-canned answer is exactly what you should do if you're in a position like, I don't know, Triston Casas, who's been around for 3 years now, proven himself to be a solid commodity, has time and time again been outspoken and weird and eccentric, and then is asked a question, what do you think? And gives an honest answer. I think that is exactly what to expect. In case you missed it, they were like, hey, what do you make of all this? And he was like, Devers is my third baseman. Devers should play third base. I'm doing a lot of paraphrasing today. I'm not reading quotes at all. I don't feel like pulling them up. But he said, Devers is my third baseman. He actually said he's the best third baseman in the league, if you ask me.
Right. Which took some validity away from the statement. Unless he meant overall, I could see that. But if he did mean defensively purely, that can't happen.
I mean, here's the thing. We know from the ESPN broadcasts that Casas does know advanced metrics, that he does check Savant.
He's got to be talking overall.
I think he's just talking because that's like his teammate and leader.
Yeah.
That's the guy. So I think it's just having his back and being like, I think if you peel back one more level of honesty, if you got 6 drinks into Triston Casas, he would say, it's fucked up that they would do this to Raffy because he's Raffy. So it's fucked up that they would ask him to do this. So no, I'm not cool with it because they shouldn't be treating him like that. I think that's what he's getting at.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's like, it's his team. So no, you don't move him unless you fucking need to. And he's like, yeah, I think Bregman should play second base. And then I don't know about the comment about, I always have Triston's back, I usually do. The comment about the kids, I can't tell. I don't know how I feel about it. I thought it was a little weird.
That one I didn't like.
Yeah, I didn't love it.
I guess, I don't know. Like, I understand the idea of, like, let's give these guys a little more reps and, like, not rush these guys. But
yeah, that's not what he said, though.
Being like, nah, I'm looking at these. I see these guys, and I don't think they're big league ready. Like that's kind of insane to say, and not very supportive teammate like you were talking about. Unless his thing is like, hey, if I've played with you before, you're my guy. If not, I hate you, and you're against our guys because you're competing for a roster spot. I don't think it's that, but like it's been a little weird in that sense.
Well, may I add here? Think back to Triston Casas' debut and how vilified he was, big word, by the veterans on the Boston Red Sox.
True.
And now he has learned some respect in his own weird fucking way. And I think he's trying to apply it. And I think he's being like, no, Devers is the third baseman. Should we move people around to make room for the prospects? No. Respect Trevor Story and Bregman and Devers.
Yeah, but then he's doing the same thing that they did to him, which wasn't about talent, though. Like, it was about him being weird, admittedly. But
I think it was more like, hey, Rook, you better show some fucking respect to the veterans. And he took that. It took him a little bit, but he was like, oh, okay, like this? And I think he's trying it out and being like, is this how I do it?
I don't know.
Not exactly, Tristan, close.
I think he's just so honest. And it's like, I have no problem with I don't have a problem. I wish actually more people. Like, can you imagine how good it would be in this job, particularly, if every single player was asked about the position thing, and we had like, okay, yeah, so Crochet, Casas, and Story all said Devers should be a third baseman. Ref Snyder, like Liam Hendricks, both said he should DH. Like,
Yeah.
that would be so much better, selfishly.
Oh yeah.
Probably would ruin the team, but it would be more fun in that sense. And I do think there's nothing wrong with the guy speaking his opinion. I do think it was weird to say that a player wasn't ready for the big leagues in any capacity for any reason. Yeah. If it was more toned toward, like, you know, when I was a rookie, you know, I can't imagine the year that I got called up, getting called up opening day. Like, it really helped me to have months of time in AAA. They've only played a few games. If you had called me up 30 games into AAA, I would have been in a really bad spot. But instead, he was just like, those guys? No, they're not big league. That
guy? Those guys? No.
That guy's a big leaguer. Is that what you're telling me? Is anybody a big leaguer? Hey, Catillo, are you a big leaguer? What are we doing?
Yeah,
you played at Fenway. You play at Fenway. He hasn't yet. Remember that media game? You've played. You've stepped up to the plate. This jackass hasn't. You gonna tell me he's a big leaguer?
You know what I think it was is like you like it or not, you do get the PR training. So Casas, like when he was asked that question about like, you know, where do you think Devers should play? He did have to make a conscious decision. Like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna be honest.
Of course,
right? And so he said it, and he's like, he has that like adrenaline high of like, yeah, I'm giving him honesty, yeah. And then before that adrenaline honesty high wore off, they were like, what about the prospects? He's like, you know what? I'll tell you what I think about the prospects. You want to know what I think? And he just let it fly, and he probably shouldn't have.
Definitely shouldn't have.
Yeah, listen, I like to criticize the team I like and the players I like at the right moments, because I like to have some objectivity. I really do, because I'm a homer. Obviously I root for the team. I'm wearing a fucking Carita hat right now. But I think it matters so much to criticize the things you like and the people you like in the right moments. Mm-hmm. And that nobody's infallible. I think Triston Casas shouldn't have said the thing about the prospects. I get where he's coming from. I think it missed the mark. But the Devers thing, totally okay for him to say that. And you know who would agree with that assessment?
Cora?
Alex Cora.
The comp was interesting.
Kirk Schilling?
Yeah.
That I don't think that's a comp.
I agree. I knew what he was saying, but maybe not. I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah, maybe leave that one in the bag, Alex.
Yeah, there were other outspoken players he must have played with. I don't think he had to go right to Schill.
Yeah, I mean Millar. Like
right. That's what I mean.
Millar is like so the obvious comp for Triston to be like, yeah, he's a fun-loving wild goon.
Did they cross though?
No.
I don't think they did.
No, they didn't. Because Cora was here, what, 6'7"?
Yeah, Millar was 05.
Yeah. Cora here 2 years, was it just 6 and 7? I hate saying 6 and 7. 06,
6, 7, and 8.
And 8.
But yeah, no, they missed each other by a year. So I guess he didn't have Millar, so he just had to go to Kirk Schilling.
Tough. I mean, I get.
No, it wasn't.
You get what
bad.
He means.
It wasn't bad. It's just that's kind of one of those things where it's like, you know what? God, he's really persuasive. Like that Hitler guy. That guy could command a room. Like he could command a room. Like there's just, I don't know. Obviously, it's not that bad, but it just
it's like AC. There's other examples. There's other examples. Oh man, yeah. He's just a fun-loving guy. Everyone loves him, like just like Bill Cosby, you know.
Yeah. Funny, just funny like him too.
Yeah, I mean, I think Cora, dude, Cora is an amazing big league manager, and I think that we've all kind of forgotten that we had like a big AC scare last year,
Oh yeah,
and like it's gone now. Like they have an extension and agreement in place, whatever. But these are the kind of moments where you need a manager like Alex Cora, because you just had your star player say, "I'm not a fucking DH." You had your brand new all-star acquisition be like, I don't know. I'm just here to play. I'm
on a
sorry."
1-year deal where if
Yeah.
this goes bad, he's gone, and then ripple effects for Devers remain. That was a 1-year thing for Bregman.
And you have a homegrown like rookie of the year candidate who probably will be an all-star multiple times in his career say, I'll tell you what I fucking think. This guy should be here. This guy should be there. And the manager stepped in and made it all feel fine. Like the way he just simply, again, I'm just going to paraphrase. That's what I'm going to do all show. Is he just stepped in and he just said, you know what? That's Triston. Triston says what he thinks. He gets up here. I give props to everybody who gets up here because it ain't easy. But he got up here. You asked him a question. He was honest about it. He can think what he thinks. And at the end of the day, he's going to go out there and he's going to play first and he's going to match baseballs. And yeah, we're just trying to make the team better. And it didn't feel canned. It just felt like him being like, yeah, it's Triston. What are you going to do? He's just going to say stuff, guys. Next question. And it sincerely alleviated 99% of all of the feelings that I have, where it just made me think like, oh, right, like this is the guy who's at the helm. This is the guy who's leading them all. He's not going to let shit get out of hand. He's going to reel it in. And I got all the faith in the world in Alex Cora, and I think that the whole situation, I don't want to say it's much ado about nothing, because I think it is a big deal that Raffy is as upset as he is, but there's nobody that I would want leading that clubhouse more than Alex Cora to keep things as chill as possible.
Agreed. I don't really have anything to add to that. I think it's not. I think a lot of people have said it, so I'm not saying anything crazy. But I think first game of the regular season, this is so far behind us that it just doesn't even like. I don't think this is something that keeps coming up.
Mm-hmm.
With the caveat that if they do remain with the Devers as our third baseman thing, every time Campbell hits like a home run, it may be like in Worcester. It may be like he's getting Doomsday's getting closer. What do we do here? Point in Devers' favor if he wants to, think about this DH thing as a positive. With Ohtani in the NL, that is a guaranteed start in the All-Star game every single year.
Is it?
Who are you facing?
Who are the best AL DHs right now?
I mean, do they give it to Vladdy most years? Because he's like kind of like he's a first baseman, but he's a fat one, so they just put him at DH.
I think if you're large enough, they just count you as a DH.
Like JD Martinez at 38 could sign with like the Orioles or something. I don't know if he's actually.
Who was the AL DH last year?
I am trying to find that right now. I remember one year it was Vladdy. And I remember, I'm like pretty kind of sure.
You got it.
It's one of those lists that just have a paragraph. Oh, no, it's going to be really difficult. Yordan Alvarez.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, maybe it's not a guaranteed spot then.
Not even close. It's actually probably worse than third. You almost would rather Jose Ramirez be your competition than Yordan Alvarez.
Yeah, Yordan's the man.
Yeah, I was thinking, I mean, I know, yeah, he's just a DH. I mean, that's a good player. That's a really, really good player.
Make that the quote card. About. That's a good player, Scott Neville on Yordan Alvarez.
People will probably be like a little bit like, what? How did that? Where did we start talking about him? probably be a little confused. Let's see. 53 games in the outfield last year for Jordan.
It's a lot for DH.
Yeah. I don't know where you put him, but they probably put him as the DH in the categories. That's early. That's early.
All right, Scott. I got your ass, dude. I'll let you go first. What do you got, man?
Well, I didn't even know we were doing this segment. But it now appears that I think Jordan was an outfielder twice and a DH once as an all-star. I'm just trying to figure out who he is.
Because his name is Jordan. It's like the Spanish version of Jordan.
Is it? That's news to me.
Yeah. I think you probably could have put that together.
Yeah. But it says All-Star Games 2022, 2023, and then 2024, they put DH in parentheses. Maybe he wasn't a starter, and they don't put the starter designate. Like, that's what they mean when they do the DH.
Or it's just an asterisk to be a DH All-Star.
No. Let me see. Jose Ramirez. Actually, wait. Rafael Devers is a better one because he started sometimes and sometimes didn't. I mean, that technically would be true for both of them, but yeah. Okay. So if you start, they put that next to it, but if you don't, they just say it. So like 2021 and 2022, it says third base next to Devers. 2024, it just says 2024
because he started.
In 2021 and 2, he started at third. 2024,
right.
He was a reserve.
Right.
So my point is, I made a bad point earlier because I think Jordan Alvarez is probably going to be the DH All-Star for the next, 8 years.
I have a thought.
Don't do it, Devers.
Don't do it, man.
I changed my mind.
I have a thought.
Fine.
I'm wearing the Carita giveaway hat, which pretty cool. Got Coca-Cola on the side. I love me some Coke. And then on this side, you got the 11. The Carita looks very good. On the back, what do you got on the back? Nothing. You got a clean snapback.
Oh, 11.
The 11 there. That's his number, his jersey number. And then
I get it.
But hard to wear in public because big Dominican flag on the underbill.
Yeah, it makes you look like, what are you trying to do?
It's a lot like, who the fuck does this guy think he is?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, there's just, like, this guy thinks he's walking around repping the DR. I wish they had a version that was blue underneath and then had, like, the Dominican flag, like, on the back.
Right.
You know? Because that's fine. Like, have the Dominican flag on there. You should. But, like, it's just loud right there on the underbill.
Yeah, that doesn't scream white guy.
No, it doesn't. No. And, like, the thing is, I live in Manchester, New Hampshire. I walk down to the Bagel Cafe, and I get in line. I have this on. Nobody bats an eye. You know, they're just like, yeah, it's Manchester. Like, that's how people dress here. You know, they wear pajama pants, and they, fly a Dominican flag on their back for some reason. Like, that's just how the white guys are here. But you go anywhere else, you get looks. And I don't really wear this hat much. I wore it for the occasion because I want to show support for my third baseman. And another thought, I don't love how much criticism Triston Casas is getting over being Triston Casas. People are like, especially Steve. Let me call him. I'll call him out.
Oh, Steve?
I would call him right now, but he's probably recording because that's what they do around this time. He's like posting a lot about like, manager Triston Casas. That's who Casas is.
Steve is?
Steve is.
Huh.
That's been bothering me. I've seen that a couple of times, and I almost replied, but I know him well enough to know if you say something disagreeing on Twitter, it's not going to come across in text as like joking or ball busting. It's going to come across mean, and it's going to start an issue. And so you don't do that. You don't do that unless you guys want to. Go right ahead. But I will also say, while we're emptying our brain of thoughts and waiting for a reply here, we do have a guest coming up in about 2 weeks. Tried to get him on this week. He's busy, but I felt it was relevant this week, so we'll just ask the same questions a couple weeks and ask why he felt it was fucking relevant to ask Rafael Devers how heavy he is. That piece of shit. How dare he? Actually, I don't know if it was him. Was it Cotillo that asked? Oh, spoiler. Was it Cotillo that asked?
I have no idea who asked how heavy he was.
Somebody did ask him how much he weighs. Which
no, I know the answer. He's 240. Yeah.
Yeah. Which legitimate question. Legitimate question.
Yeah.
It's a little. Is it in poor taste? Yeah, I'm sure. But the thing is, whoever asked it, I think it was Cotillo. Actually, now that I think about it. Probably did feel weird asking it. Probably is like, ugh, this isn't comfortable to ask, but like it is one of the things I have to do. They've been all over him. That's what I was really I wanted Cotillo to be on here so that I could say to him, why is everybody dogging you lately? Because everybody's all over him, like being like, oh, you're not asking hard-hitting questions. And then he asks the hard questions, and it's like, Boston media always looking for the rag on their own guys. And it's like, and he's pretty transparent and like will respond to people and be like, hey, I asked because like this is a part of the job. And I feel bad. I feel bad. People do it to Ty Anderson too in the Bruins space where they're like, well, why didn't you ask Sweeney what the hell he's doing with the roster?
I think it's just because he's the most available to the fans. Like if I had to get something, if I had to get a question asked at Devers and I just couldn't get credentials and couldn't show up to the thing myself, Cotillo is the easiest person, I feel like, that actually is engaging on Twitter, actually does read what people are saying, like to the fans' point in a way. Cotillo actually like answered a lot of these guys and gave like his actual analysis on, well, here's what was happening in the room. Here's what you missed because you weren't there. Here's why I asked this question and why it was relevant. Where if you had thrown that spam at, Pete Abe, he's just not going to answer. And that, like, and honestly, maybe that was the right move because now Cotillo does answer to the fans in a way. But I actually like that. It's kind of he treats that as his job, and that's cool. So I think it's actually because when people reach out to Cotillo and say, hey, why did you do that? He's actually the one that answers.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. And that is probably why. So kudos to him. He'll be on soon. We went to have him on. We always ask to have him on when it's really busy, which makes sense to have him on when it's really busy because like, oh, it's the winter meetings. Cotillo's breaking news and shit. Let's talk to him about it. And he's like, hey, I'd love to, but I'm insanely busy right now. No, spring training. Cotillo's asking some tough questions of some guys. He's right in the middle of all this stuff, and he's seeing the clubhouse. We should ask him how it's going. And he's like, well, yeah, I can't talk because I'm very busy right now. But we'll be on, and got some other people lined up too. So we're gonna have some guests here. We're still not sure about spring training, about whether or not we'll go. Everybody says to go early, which is like now. Yeah. So if we were to go, it would be later. But we're still talking about it. But either way, we're gonna have some guests before the season kicks off because 3 people now are lined up for March. And in case you aren't sure, there's only 4 weeks in March. So that means a guest every week and then opening day. And then we're back to 2 episodes a week. But before then, I mean, this is the last episode before games start, right?
Yeah, that's weird.
Crochet on the bump Sunday. Enjoy that. Take the day off.
Yeah, take Sunday off, will you?
Yeah, take Sunday off. I know you guys are workaholics. You guys are listening to ITM while you're working your 3rd job, while remotely working your 4th, and you're mining Bitcoin, whatever. Take the day. Watch Garrett crochet. It's crochet day. Is that what we're going to call it? Crochet day?
Yeah, kind of Shay and day. I like that. Crochet day.
They do rhyme, but we're not going to say like crow day.
No, I hope not.
Yeah, it's probably the wrong decision. Yeah, that'd probably be the wrong move.
Crochet day is definitely the right answer. That already feels right.
Yeah. Garrett day is kind of gross.
Gross.
Hauk day didn't work. Tanner day didn't work. Crochet day sounds good.
Crochet day is good.
Crochet day, baby. All right. Easy. Reel it in. All right. Thank you guys for listening. Do you have any closing thoughts? Anything you want to get out of your thick little skull before we get out of here?
Got kind of like a heartburn thing going on right now.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
You all right?
Yeah, I'll be all right.
All right. I haven't been eating much lately. The other day.
Any reason for that, or?
Oh, crippling anxiety all the time, every day.
Yeah.
Incredible, regular anxiety attacks.
I'm going to therapy now.
Are you really?
No, it's physical therapy. I have my shoulder.
Nice. Me too.
You go to physical therapy?
Definitely.
Nice. All right.
And anyway, I haven't been eating, and I was playing Fortnite with a buddy the other day, and we were talking about Taco Bell, and then I was like, ugh, I want to get Taco Bell now. I'm like thinking about Taco Bell. I pull up DoorDash. I'm looking at Taco Bell. I'm like, ugh, do I get Taco Bell? Do I not get Taco Bell? And he's like, well, what have you eaten today? And I was like, I had a bagel yesterday. And he's like, yeah, definitely get Taco Bell. And so I ordered 3 tacos, which, by the way, is not worth the delivery fee. But I got 3 tacos. Dude, I ate 1 taco and was full. Has anyone in the history of the world eaten 1 Taco Bell taco and been full? I think I was the very first one.
On an empty stomach, that sounds about right. I've only been to Taco Bell one singular time in my life.
As I started saying it, I was like, I'm pretty sure Scott's not a Taco Bell guy.
I don't know if I am. It's not that I'm not.
I'm going to get Taco Bell tonight again.
I just feel like I missed it. I'm going to
do the same mistake.
You know when you don't watch a movie for a while? Like, it's like you just missed it. It's kind of how I feel about Taco Bell. It's like I'm 25. The fact that I haven't had it, it's like I just missed it. I don't know. It's probably great. I don't know. I missed it. I think it's too late for me to start. If I just started going now, I feel like it's just strange.
I don't think so at all, dude. I think that's fine.
No. I have to be up there. I have to tell them. It's like I don't know what to get here. Like I'm new here, and they're gonna be like, "You're what? What are you like 25?" I'm gonna be like, "Yeah."
But what if they're just like, "Oh, okay, come up to the window"?
What do you think? You think you're gonna have a bunch of nonchalant fast food employees?
You think the fast food employees got like hard opinions on you?
Yeah.
Can I just say one last thing before we get out of here?
Okay.
Go Sox, dude. Go Sox. I'm stoked. I'm so
more
stoked.
Than usual.
Go Sox more than usual should be the sign.
Yeah.
People are holding up in the bleachers at JetBlue Park.
The title. Go Sox more than usual. Is that too many words for the title?
The title will probably be something like I play
Bregman,
third.
Crochet, Devers? Question mark?
The title should be like put Crochet at third.
Yeah.
That's actually a good title. That would be funny. But maybe we'll do that. I don't know. Those of you who are listening will probably know. If you want to follow the show, please do. It's at ITM_pod. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter. Find us on YouTube. The Red Sox Clubhouse, CLNS. You can find our links on our socials. You can follow Scott at Scott Neville 46. Just like how many games Rafael Devers is going to DH this year. And you can find me at Joey Copponi. And we will see you next week to talk about fucking baseball games. Whoa. Wow. For Scott Neville, I'm Joey Copponi. Go Sox, kid.